My Experiments with Truth by Ikenna Azala. Topic: Gratitude. Gratitude. We often hear those words. Be grateful. No matter what situation you find yourself in, be grateful. Take a tally of all your blessings. True. But if you ask yourself, what is gratitude? Lately, I've came to a different realization of what constitutes gratitude just through my experiences, and I realized that there are two parts to gratitude. Now, anytime you hear the word gratitude, what picture comes to mind, right? Gratitude are not the words we use, the grammar, our sentences, but the warmth that emanates from the heart and from the soul in response to a recognition of value and blessings. And value and blessings mean something that has enhanced us, that provides the possibility for us to live in peace and joy and happiness, and that has come at our disposal so that we can come closer towards realizing our deepest aspirations. So that's typically what we think of as gratitude. And that's true, but that's only what we can say is the first part of gratitude, which is thankfulness. And thankfulness, if you notice, has the same definitions I just said. You recognize something that you've received, blessings that has come your way to add value to your life. And that's just a recognition of it. And the reason why that's only one part of gratitude is in looking at my life, I realized that, if a child just sits around the Christmas tree and receives gifts, and it says, "Oh, I'm so grateful, Mom, Dad," that's nice, but it's all based upon the child receiving something, getting something, which is still good. It's still a huge step forward, but there's still something missing, which is the second part of what we can say is gratitude, which is what I recognize, which is what I would categorize as the reciprocation of value. So it's only when, upon recognizing the value and the blessings of something, that we are compelled to reciprocate value, can we then complete what constitutes gratitude. And if we just take a look at this in a very, very practical way, we have a friend always there for us and always encourages and uplifts us. We say, "Wow, I'm so grateful for my friend." No, you're just so thankful for your friend because you recognize their value. But the question is, in order to complete the cycle, it would be giving them the possibility to experience the value that you receive. So only when we provide the possibility for another to be enhanced the same way their activity enhances us do we close the cycle. So gratitude is a big cycle. It is a big cycle. Thankfulness is like a semicircle, and the reciprocation of value is the other semicircle. Those two conjoined together is what creates this Ouroboros of gratitude. And that actually makes sense in a very, very practical ways. Because when we receive something, we have the obligation to give. And we give in accordance with the value that we perceive something. So, and this applies to good and bad things, right? Think about this. If you don't recognize value in something, most likely you will give very little in return. So that means that the part one, the recognition of value and the blessings, is what determines the nature of the efforts for reciprocation. That's what typically happens. So the more we recognize value in something, the more that we should be compelled to give it in return. So if we look at a field of flowers, we are enraptured by the beauty that meets our gaze, and we say, "This is so gorgeous," right? "I'm so grateful." Well, you're thankful. To be grateful, you'd have to reciprocate value. And that value could come in many forms. It could mean something as simple as being more gentle with plants and flowers, because of instead of just plucking it and then tossing it on the ground, you want to reciprocate value. So you want to safeguard and protect. And then or to reciprocate value, you could mean, I want to live in such a way where a life can be as refreshing to another as looking at this, plant. So the point is, gratitude would first of all inspire thankfulness, but then compel action to replicate, to emulate, and to ennoble and to enhance, so that that movement can continue. And I think that when we do that, it is less of a one-sided exercise, because we're so, even in our attitude, we're used to just sitting around and getting things. Oh, I'm thankful for my children, thankful for my wife, thankful for my job, thankful for this, thankful for that, thankful to the Almighty for giving me this. But it's all based upon what we are getting. We don't place demands on ourselves to give something. There is not the onus of a duty and responsibility to reciprocate, to ensure another experiences what we are permitted to receive. And in that way, gratitude becomes action oriented. So if we're grateful to the Almighty for granting us so many things, the question is, what can we give back? And you realize that there's nothing we can give back that does not already belong to Him. So the most that we then say is, I want to give obedience and compliance to your order, so that I can reciprocate the beauty that through your will I'm constantly receiving. And the other way is, if through our circumstances we are given a spouse or children, another way of reciprocating value is by adding value. So I'm giving this by the hand of fate. And the way that I show my gratitude is by being thankful, recognizing the value, but then reciprocating it by ensuring that all the people in that environment experience peace and joy and happiness through my activity. I want them to be able to experience the value that I'm receiving from them. And to do this, I have to enhance their existence. I want to add more value, give more, so that the joy they're experiencing constantly multiplies. And I think that's the way that we can give value back, quote unquote, to the Almighty, even though there's nothing we can give Him that can ever change Him in any single way. There's nothing that can ever add anything, because everything belongs to Him. So consequently, the only thing we can give is obedience and compliance and the constant ennoblement of what we receive. And that ennoblement demands action. So I think that those two concepts complete gratitude. One, recognition of value and the blessings, and two, reciprocation of that value. And I think that step one is already a big step for us, because sometimes what happens is we are so blinded by what we want, right? And what we think we need. And we hold that in our thoughts. And then by the time that thing is fulfilled, we have already, accumulated other desires and thoughts, so that that thing we were pestering over is already accomplished in our lives, but we don't see the blessings because we're moving on to another hassle and worry. So we're constantly living in this state of want without recognizing what we're being given. So we don't even recognize the value half the time. So that's still a big step. But the other step is, how can I move from a receiver mentality to a giver mentality? And those two actions is what will then complete gratitude and put us, I believe, on a path towards being more genuine in what we mean. And this is what I've come to recognize through my experiences. And it is action-oriented, and also it is very, very practical. So that's what I wanted to share, and I hope that this adds value to you. Until next time.